Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Catherine, and today I'm going to be talking about self-care, some obstacles to self-care, and some potential tips on how to overcome those obstacles. So just a quick definition, what do I mean by self-care? The dictionary defines self-care as the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health, or the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during periods of stress. I basically look at self-care as anything I need to do to meet my own needs based on the different dimensions of wellness, which I'll touch on the dimensions of wellness in just a minute. When I think of obstacles to self-care or why I may not take as good care of myself as I feel like I ought to, I think of four main obstacles. The first one being guilt, second, time, third, money, and fourth, energy. So let's take a look at each one of those. The first one, guilt. When I was younger, I didn't really learn how to take care of myself very well. In fact, I thought that it was selfish to have needs. So in many ways, I ended up denying my own humanity because I thought it was selfish to take care of myself. So even basic needs like eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom, these were ways that I denied my own humanity in the name of trying to be virtuous or selfless. What this ended up doing was it actually made my body and my spirit and mind weaker because I wasn't taking good care of myself, and so I was less able to do good in the world. And so by denying parts of my humanity, that was actually detrimental to my well-being, and in the long term could be detrimental to my physical and mental health. The second obstacle is time. It wasn't too long ago that I was in a season of life where I would get up in the morning, go to work at an office for 8 or so hours, and then go straight to class and not come home until late at night, and then have to get up the next morning and go to work and do it all over again. So there were times when I was going for easily 14 hours a day, and I would often have to eat dinner in the car, which was not the most holistic option, but it's what I needed to do to survive. And I felt like there was very little excess time to really rest and take care of myself and do the things I needed to do to keep myself well. So having a busy schedule can make it really challenging for me to take care of myself. The next obstacle is money. Money can be a huge concern, especially when living on a tight budget, trying to pay bills, trying to survive, and there's not a lot of excess for me to maybe buy the most nutritional food to feed myself well, or buy the toiletries I need, or clothing that fits. Especially a few years ago when I was trying to pay off debt, and I was solely focused on trying to pay off debt as quickly as possible, to the point where sometimes I was essentially depriving myself of things that I needed to try to save money. And then lastly, energy. Going back to that season when I was doing work and then school, and then whenever I wasn't working or at school, I would have to do homework and practice giving massages on people. I felt exhausted all the time, and I felt so little energy to take care of myself, just to shower or eat a healthy meal. I felt so burnt out that I just didn't feel energy to take good care of myself. So those can be obstacles to self-care and taking care of the self well. So what do I do to overcome those obstacles? One thing that I'm doing as a way of overcoming those obstacles is having an awareness or an understanding of different dimensions of wellness. Now, there are a lot of different models out there and different ways of breaking it down. The first couple that come to my mind are physical, emotional, and spiritual wellness. But there's also intellectual, financial, environmental, social. And there are a lot of different ways of thinking about different dimensions of what makes humans whole and healthy and well. And so having that awareness can also help me identify what areas of self-care I might need to work on. The second element that I am working on is the idea of just asking myself what I need, especially if I'm having a bad day or I feel emotional or my body doesn't feel good. If I can practice asking myself, okay, what is it that I need, and being able to identify it, that can be a really good first step in getting better at taking care of myself. And yes, there have definitely been times when I might not have been able to meet my own needs the way I felt I should have been able to. There have been plenty of times when I felt the need for emotional or social connection, and I wasn't able to get that. Maybe other people weren't available, and I was by myself. And I believe that emotional connection and social connection can be a real need that I have. And so I had to get creative and figure out ways of taking care of myself, even though I may not have been able to meet that need as thoroughly as I would have liked. But just the act of learning how to ask, what do I need, has helped me to reframe my perspective, especially regarding the guilt, and reminding myself, okay, it's not selfish to have needs. Even if I'm not able to thoroughly meet my needs in a given moment, being able to identify what they are is a step in being able to better take care of myself. The final thing that I like to keep in mind, and this isn't an original idea, this is actually something I learned from a counselor at a yoga teacher training that I attended. And I'm not sure if it was her idea or she got it from somewhere else, but it is the 5-5-5 rule. The 5-5-5 rule is take 5 minutes, engage as many of the 5 senses as possible, and make sure it costs less than $5. So for example, I might go outside with my bare feet in the grass. That's touch. I might focus on taking some deep breaths. That's smell. I might look around and see if I can identify different kinds of plants. That's sight. I might listen to the birds singing. That's sound. And maybe I have a snack or take a sip of water while I'm out there. That's taste. So the 5 senses, spend 5 minutes, less than $5. Especially if I have limited time, energy, money, and have trouble feeling guilty taking care of myself, that 5-5-5 rule has been really helpful for me in practicing healthy self-care without having to deplete a whole bunch of resources. Self-care doesn't necessarily mean taking a 4-hour bath and then spending a couple $100 on getting my nails done. I mean, maybe for some people that's what that means, but sometimes self-care really just means breathing, going to the bathroom when I need to, drinking water, getting sleep, being aware and trying to take care of my basic needs for physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, financial, environmental, social. As a human being, human beings are complicated. And there are many different ways that I can take care of myself and many different ways that I need to take care of myself. So those are some obstacles that I have faced and some ways that I have worked to overcome those obstacles. I hope that was helpful to you, and if you have any feedback, please feel free to share in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.